Ryan Gosling's wife, Eva Mendes, recently did an interview where she explained her decision to step back from her acting career and to be a stay-at-home mom and a wife. While Ryan Gosling was out making a name for himself as an A-lister, she decided to take a step back from the public eye and focus on raising her children, which in the feminist worldview is supposed to be a good thing. It's a woman choosing to do what is best for her.
No. But you're technically right, but no.
Unfortunately, feminists are not actually consistent in what they believe, so they attacked her for saying this.
Should we watch the video?
Let's take a look at her comment.
It was like a no-brainer. I'm so lucky. And I was like, if I can have this time with my children, and I still worked, I just didn't act because acting takes you on locations, it takes you away. It was almost just like a non-verbal agreement that it was like, okay, he's gonna work and I'm gonna work. I'm just gonna work here. It was like
That's like the most win-win situation ever.
Yeah.
And they're still mad.
I think that the reality here is Eva Mendes has more freedom than most stay-at-home moms and most working women.
Yep.
She has more freedom than both of those camps because, as she just said, she doesn't have to go out on acting jobs. She can work, like run a business from her house and also have employees who do work for her.
Right.
And, you know, at will, do whatever she wants. She has unlimited help and resources for taking care of her kids. So it's not like we're even judging this on the basis of what other women should do. This is just her saying what she individually decided was best. It's interesting. I think people are actually taking offense to her saying, we had a non-verbal agreement. Like, it was just understood between Eva Mendes and Ryan Gosling, like, this is what's going to happen when we start a family together, instead of having some kind of written contract to decide that.
He comes up and he goes,
I mean,
here,
it's like,
Sign this.
sign this.
she's saying it's a non-verbal agreement because they just allowed themselves to sit back into the roles that they're naturally suited for. They allowed themselves to do what they are best at given their biological and spiritual roles in a family.
And God forbid she actually prefer hanging out with her own children than going and shooting movies for a living.
Yeah, so here were some of the responses from feminists. Let's dissect how marriage took away one of the greatest actresses of our time.
Okay.
Okay, let's do this. Sorry.
Flag on the play. Look, you can make your comment without such ridiculous levels of hyperbole. I love Eva Mendes as much as the next guy. Calling her, what was it?
One of the greatest actresses of our time.
Wasn't she known for like being kind of a bad actress?
Yes, when I watch Too Fast, Too Furious, I cry sometimes.
Whatever. That was their opinion.
It's the white sweatsuit that did it for me.
But yeah, marriage took away one of the greatest actresses of our time. Women always have automatically become the default parent and have to sacrifice their life so the man doesn't have to, and people wonder why birth rates are going down. So they think that birth rates are declining in the West because women are angry that they are expected not to work. That is quite literally the opposite of the reality of this situation, which is that you can barely survive on a one-income household. So maybe birth rates are going down because people see less options to be financially stable and have one parent spending time with the kids. I think that's a way better explanation, but not according to the feminists. Another said, it's always women sacrificing their career by default to be the main parent, while you'll never see a male equivalent of this.
See, here's the problem. They're assuming that it's by default and not a conversation that actually had between the two of them. Maybe
I think it is by default.
Maybe the better question to ask is who was making more money before this happened?
Oh, I'm sure it was Ryan Gosling. When did they get married? Do you know?
I don't know. But I'm just saying in general, right? The better question would be like, which person is pulling in more income?
Ryan Gosling and Eva Mendes are publicly known as one of the happiest couples in Hollywood, along with Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds.
Is somebody saying that she was in American Gangster? Who the hell was she in American Gangster?
I don't know.
She definitely wasn't the beauty queen.
But I think that them saying it's the default is actually true because here Eva Mendes is saying she is doing what she was biologically compelled to do, which is that she didn't want to be away from her kids. That's just the default setting for most people when they're not actively fighting what their biology is compelling them to do. So they didn't really need to have this like complex conversation or like a legal contract about it. It's just, you know, doing what actually makes sense. Another one said, a woman decides the job that takes her away from home is something she doesn't want to do as a mom, so she works where she can be at home with her babies, and folks are acting like she just gave up her life for a man. This lady has multiple businesses and gets to come home to her babies like she wants. I love it when people live the lives they want. This is the same take. Because actually, Eva Mendes isn't a trad wife. She is a very public person. She goes to red carpet events with Ryan Gosling, and she owns multiple businesses, which means she actually is contributing to her household income. A trad wife is just supposed to be, you know, barefoot in the kitchen all day. And if she were doing that, that would be fine too. But by, I guess, Hollywood standards or by feminist standards, she is basically living in a cage. She's living in a dungeon with her babies, and Ryan Gosling comes home and he beats her because she burnt dinner. That's what they picture Eva Mendes is going through on a day-to-day basis.
Which is, of course, a problem where everybody has these exaggerated images of what it means to be this or that.
I think that the influencers selling themselves as trad wives are actually part of the problem in that regard. So, Brett, you sent me this TikTok from a girl named Esty Williams, and she kind of, you know, dresses in this 1950s style, and she has like the Marilyn Monroe bob, and she makes content about her marriage and how she's a housewife. And it caused quite a stir on TikTok.
Let's watch this video.
Yeah. This is her advice for becoming a traditional wife.
Welcome back to part 2 of some conventional or unconventional things me and my husband do in our marriage. So the first one is, I don't leave the house after dark by myself. This is not a control thing. This is a safety thing. I've had a couple encounters and I don't wish to have any more. Along with leaving the house, I always notify my husband when I'm going to go somewhere and when I arrive. It's safety. Why not, right? And we always share locations with each other. I really recommend the Life 360 app. It notifies you when your partner arrives or leaves, and it notifies you if their battery is low. I love it. Number 2.
Before we go on, I love that she doesn't cut out her reaching for the phone to turn it to hit cut.
Yeah.
She just leaves it in there. Like, that's my favorite part of this. In my mind, she actually didn't record any of this multiple times. She just dropped literally everyone from the camera roll in one timeline.
Opposite sex friendships. I don't think a woman needs to have a male best friend. Why? Any companionship or company that I need, I can get from another woman. Number 3, and this one's gonna ruffle some feathers. I submit and I serve my husband. This is a biblical thing, so don't twist this into something that it's not. It is a blessing to be my husband's helpmate, and the Bible has the man of the household, not the woman, so he leads. Number 4, we don't involve any outsiders or family members into our disputes. This is important because arguments, disagreements, whatever, need to stay within the marriage, and when you involve other people, it causes more issues, and most likely people choose sides, and you just don't want that. Number 5, I take my husband's preferences into consideration. So with my hair, my clothes, I like to wear the things that he likes. And typically he's not going to like something that is so outside of my norm. He's going to like the things that he sees me happiest in, and that's usually pink and bright colors. And he loves my hair more naturally curly, so that's what I do most of the time. A lot of the comments in my other video, people were asking, what does he do for me? And I just want to correct you guys on something. A lot of Western women don't sit here and think, what can I do to make my man happy? No, they think, what is he going to do to make me happy? You guys don't understand the benefits that you reap when you think about your partner before yourself.
She's literally, JF, she's like, ask not what your partner can do for you, but what you can do for your partner.
What do you guys think? And comment what other videos you want to see on traditional.
I'm picturing a guy right now, picturing like her face on a tablet, and he's showing it to his wife. He goes, see, it's biblical.
Someone commented, my 3 sons told me this girl is a fetish. When I asked what they meant by that, they told me she wasn't real. She does and says everything that is a fantasy to make money and fulfills many people's fetish, I guess, fantasies. At this point, I'm too old to understand the current reality.
I don't think
Another one
that's,
said this is 100% kink role play.
I don't think that that's an unfair question to ask. Like, look, as soon as it becomes a social media profile and you start getting lots of followers, it leaves the realm of just between you and your husband, and it is now something that is being watched upon by lots and lots of people. Now, perhaps you do wear pink every day, but perhaps there's outfits you just wear for making these videos. It's fair to point out that the internet has changed these types of dynamics, and this absolutely portrays, at the very least, the most positive aspects of this type of lifestyle. I think that a lot of those advice, like the part about not involving your family in disputes, how do you feel about that?
Super red flag.
That not involving, okay, okay, why?
Not every dispute, but sometimes she said to not involve anyone, not just your own family.
Oh, well, yeah, that's, I don't know. I mean, it's like, I've heard that advice from other people before, like other married people before, because at some points, like maybe you have friends that want to feed into resentments or something like destructive like that. So
I would say 9 times out of 10, yeah, you should definitely keep it between you two. But I think saying don't ever talk to other people about something, maybe if you have a question or you need advice,
for the most part, everything that she said in that video is pretty solid advice. It's pretty normal stuff that at least most Christian people would agree with, especially when she got into like the biblical basis for the dynamic of the relationship.
Guys everywhere are like, see, it's in the Bible. You should submit to me.
The reason that people are attacking this woman is because of her appearance, obviously. Right? It's because
I can see a couple of reasons why they're attacking
She's
her.
being very soft-spoken. She's doing this kind of Marilyn Monroe affect and dresses in this way that definitely looks contrived.
Right.
And not like, it looks like she like found her personality on Pinterest. And it doesn't ring true to people when they see that, even though every word that you're saying makes sense.
It's very uncanny valley.
It freaks people out, and I understand that.
Yeah,
I do.
It seems like she's playing a character more than it being true and genuine, which doesn't, again, make anything that she said not just as good advice as it was, but
then again, like, how would we know whether it's a character? I'm not going to pretend I know.
But an interesting question about that is, like, in these industries, whether it's OnlyFans or porn, these types of themes come up because there's a demand for it, right? Like, I remember reading a thing where it said, like, remember the story about the lady who talked about how she could predict a recession because she was a stripper and she could predict a recession.
Oh, yeah.
So he said you can predict social trends based on porn themes, and they're saying like there's no babysitter themes anymore because people can't afford to have, all the families are divorced and all these things, so it goes out of fashion, right? So what is it about the idea of a trad wife in 2024 that is so enticing to people that it is now become something that's fetishized?
Yeah.
it's become a rarity.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's because it's so scarce.
Yes,
At least in
exactly.
America, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like unusual to see a woman like that and be proud of it.
And the men don't know how to behave in a way that attracts women who want to behave this way, nor how to ask for what they want in a way that actually can get women to submit to them in the relationship sense.
Right.
So they're playing out a fantasy through these TikTok videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And feminism and Me Too have played a huge role in that, and why men are so terrified to be assertive.
Like, women are raging
marriage
in her
laws.
comment section because they hear this message and, like, they're not receptive to it because they're looking around at the men in society and they're like, who deserves this?
Yeah.
And I think that is totally fair.
Yes.
And I think that's totally fair from men, too. Like, they're thinking, who deserves for me to be traditional when, like, look around at these bitches. Like, I think everyone has reason to feel resentful of the opposite sex.
Yes.
But you really need to return to reality, stop inundating yourself with all of this exaggerated content on social media, and you only need to find one person. Like, you don't need to find a woman who represents the collective of all women in society. You're just trying to find one person for you.
I did,
and that's the white pill, I think.
She mentioned like the tracking app, but I guess she did say we both use it, so they can both be tracked wherever they go. I'm gonna just put an air tag on myself and be tracked wherever I go.
I don't know. Do you think that's toxic?
I don't think I think it's polite in good karma to like be open about where you're going with your partner. I'm not saying that you have to
but the tracking,
tell them.
The tracking
that's.
part.
I mean, I think that's weird, but I wouldn't use it. But I
mean, I know they say like it's about safety, and yes, it's about safety, but it's also about cheating. Obviously, like you can't just pretend it's only about making sure you're alive.
For some people, I think. I mean, any person that I've ever dated, seriously, I am sharing all of my locations with you, even if you can't share yours with me. Like, say if they don't have an iPhone, they can't share their location with me, or like if I take a Lyft or if I take an Uber, I have it connected to their phone number, to their email address or whatever. Sure. I don't think it's weird.
I don't think anything she said is outright weird. I think her account is weird.
There's a Chris Rock bit where he talks about, about how he got caught cheating. He goes, woman found 2 condoms in my pocket, but there's a pack of 3. And all she kept asking is, where's the other condom? And then at the end, he tells her, and he admits to it. He's like, if she tells you to break up, run. You got off lucky. But he's like, you're almost at the door, and she stops you. Wait, let's work it out.
Oh, no.
And then he's like, you're not getting anywhere because she's getting you a cell phone, a beeper, a pager. And then it's like, and the whole thing's about how she's basically going to turn you into LoJack so that she knows where you are 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And I mean, for me, like the only reason I feel like I would want to track my significant other is because I would worry, like if I don't hear from them or they're not home yet. But if you need to track your significant other because you're worried about them cheating, I mean, obviously there's different circumstances, but there's way bigger problems.
You just wake up one day and she's got an ankle monitor on you. And if you cut it off, it starts beeping really loudly and sends a signal to the police.
Some guys are into that.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.